What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the AK Show with your boy AK the Ref. How is everybody doing on this Saturday afternoon? We here, we here on a Saturday, episode 19, baby. Let's get it. I know it's not Wednesday, but I had a lot of stuff going on. I was just busy and I didn't get a chance to record it before Wednesday or on Wednesday. So we here on a Saturday. You know what that means. You made it to the weekend. Give yourself a round of applause. As exactly, you made it to the weekend. But before we get started in today's episode, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Yes, because we are over 100 subscribers on the AK Show podcast. I give you yeah, let's go. Oh my god, knock the microphone down. But we there. Thank you. I very much appreciate all the support, all the views, all the subscribers. Let's get it. The next goal, 500. That's the next goal, which is 100 to 500. Yeah, let's go. We can get there. Slowly but surely we will get there. And then the next goal after that, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, 20, all the way up, 100K, 500,000, a million. I mean, everybody wants to get to a million. We're going to get here. But I do appreciate everybody that tunes in. This podcast is meant for like entertainment purposes. I'm gonna give my opinions on things in like the sports and entertainment world. I'm not gonna talk any politics or any personal stuff. We're gonna talk sports, football, basketball, baseball, pro wrestling, soccer, whatever the case may be. We got the Olympics coming up. We talk about the Olympics. Entertainment side, we could talk about movies, music, TV shows, video games, cartoons, whatever the case may be. You come here and listen to my podcast, to my show, you just have a good time. Lose yourself for a little bit and then go back to reality. But we here. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, like I said, we're here on a Saturday. I'm recording this right now, Saturday morning. So when it releases, so when you're listening to it, I hope you're having a very great Saturday so far, and it'll be a probably Saturday evening ish, early evening ish when this releases on YouTube today. But we here. Oh man, I hope everybody had a great week so far. Hope you had a great weekend last weekend, and hope your weekend this weekend is off to a great start. Oh man, last weekend was busy. I didn't even I had wrestling all weekend. Had a show on Saturday morning, or not Saturday morning, but I left Saturday morning or afternoon to go to a wrestling show in St. Louis for WrestleMax, and then I didn't come back home until Tuesday early evening, because I did extra work in Indianapolis with WWE on Monday, and so yeah, I stayed the night because it's only like about a 4 hour drive, right, a little bit under four from St. Louis to Indianapolis. There's no point in driving back home and then having to turn around and leave and then drive almost 8 hours back. No, so we just stayed the night in St. Louis on Saturday, drove to Indianapolis on Sunday, and then got there. I didn't do much in Indianapolis. I just chilled at the hotel room and just ate some food, chilled, watched some TV, and then woke up Monday, got a workout in, and then went to the venue and just got to do extra work and things like that. So, but if you're in like pro wrestling, you ever get a chance to do extra work with WWE, you should get on that. You should get on that. If you are in the pro wrestling and you don't know who to contact for extra work, just message me privately and I'll let you know who you need to get in contact. I won't give out that person's email, but most people know who it is if they know. But message me personally, I'll let you know who you need to get in contact with. You know, I'm not gonna give out the email address because that's not you. Got to get in contact with that person. You could probably get in contact with that person somehow. Usually they're putting on seminars. So the person that does is usually doing seminars and works for WWE, does seminars all over the country at different wrestling schools. So if you get a chance to attend one, that's how you can get up on extra work. You know what I'm saying? But message me if you're interested, and you want to know who's the person you need to contact. And yeah, you know what it is. But if you ever get a chance to do extra work, it's a real good experience. You know, just being back there and being able to just sit back and learn s- and just watch and take it all in. It's always a fun time, always a great experience. People there are great. Everybody, from the producers, the agents, to all the talent, everybody in between. Everybody's just always. I've never had a problem with anything like that. Everybody's so cool, chill, and they're there to do their work. When you're an extra, you're not there to bother anybody. You're there to be an extra and be there when they need you. But when you're sitting from afar, you can always just watch and take it all in and things like that. But yeah, if you're in pro wrestling, you get a chance to do extra work, do it at least one time. It's a great opportunity, great experience. But yeah, I had that Monday and then left Tuesday morning to come back, and then I didn't get a chance to record the episode. Because Wednesday came around, I was just tired. It's like when I have these long wrestling road trips that are like multiple days. It's like when I get back, I am just exhausted from just driving and things like that. Because I went by myself, so I was doing all the driving and things like that. But usually when I do these shows, I'm just tired. I'm like, oh man. I went like when I got back Tuesday, I'm still wired. I'm still wired from the whole weekend. And it wasn't until Wednesday where I'm like, damn, now it's really hitting me. It's always like the day after I get back, it always hits me. Whereas finally my adrenaline comes down. I'm no longer wired and things like that. But it was a great weekend. A great show on Saturday at WrestleMax. Let's go. Great, awesome time at doing extra work. It's always a great time. I always find it enjoyable. I always do. So that's just me. But we here. We're gonna get it today. I'm not gonna keep you too long. Couple Today's episode is mostly gonna be pro wrestling related. Talking about uh, I want to get into traveling and getting into like referee stuff in pro wrestling and being able to do certain stuff like staying in shape, being able to do certain things, and then talk some pro wrestling traveling tips, the pros and cons of traveling alone or traveling with somebody or a group of people. But before I get into that, I do want to speak on this. It's not really a situation. Just a matter of opinion, but the opinion's probably wrong. So last week I saw a post on Facebook about Chris Brown being this generation's Michael Jackson. Yo, just tell me, when are we gonna stop this? When are we gonna stop this madness? Why? Chris Brown is not no generation's Michael Jackson. Because here's how it is. Nobody's Michael Jackson. Nobody. I don't care. Taylor Swift is not. I'll get into that in a moment. It's not Chris Brown. It's not Beyonce. It's not nobody. You know, Michael surpassed everybody. He's up here on his own. He's up here in his own universe, own stratosphere. Everybody else is over here, and there's some people here, right? It's levels to this. Nobody's up here. There's some people here, and then there's some people here. Chris Brown's not up here. He like over. He not right there. I mean, Chris Brown is nice. He can sing, he can dance, but he's not this generation's Michael Jackson. I'm sorry. You're not. Sorry. You do not have the same effect as Michael Jackson does. So can we just stop this? Even Neo said that shit. There's an interview with Neo where he says like nobody's Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson's in his own stratosphere as an artist. That's just it. Michael, it's not the same. Like what are we doing here? So I read that comment. I was like, this is madness. And then even some people in the comments are saying, yeah, Chris Brown is actually better than Michael. Like we're gonna
Stop the cap.
stop it. We're not doing this. So we got that, and then I saw the other posts. You know, Taylor Swift is on the same level as Michael. No, she's not. And I fucks with Taylor Swift. I play her music in my PE class. I fucks with. I listen to it's on my playlist. I listen to it. I jam into it in the car. My daughter would jam to it in the car. My favorite song is "Style" by Taylor Swift. I fucks with Taylor Swift. I I do. You call me whatever you want. I listen. I like all types of music. The only music I really don't like is country music. But I fucks with Taylor Swift. I really do. You got a problem with that? I don't give a fuck. Forget you. That's all I got to say about it. But it's saying that she's on the same level. No, she's not. I get like she's here. She ain't up here. Beyonce's there. Taylor Swift is right here. Michael's up here by himself. It ain't the Beatles. It ain't the Elvises of the world. It ain't all them people from back then. It Michael's here. Everybody, there's people here. There's a lot. There's a lot of good people right here. Taylor Swift's one of them. And then there's some people down here that are still good, but they're not here, and they're nobody's here except Michael. He's the goat. He's the greatest of all time, and things like that. So like when they say Taylor Swift is on Michael Jackson's level, no, sorry, you're not. You doing numbers? I get that. You selling out these shows worldwide, but there's also a lot of other people going on tour worldwide. I would say Taylor Swift's probably the biggest artist right now, and then maybe Beyonce in terms of all that, because Beyonce was out here doing a stadium tour in the states. Taylor Swift's doing worldwide. I would say she's the biggest of this generation, but she's not nowhere near Michael's level. Nobody is, and it has nothing to do with people say Michael did this without social media. That's beside the point. They showed a picture of him at a concert, just packed, jam packed front to back, and then they showed another picture. It was just people outside his hotel room in a different country. Like Michael, listen, Michael Jackson had an effect on everybody, whether regardless of age, race, or gender. He had an effect on everybody. These other artists today, they don't have that same effect on everybody, on every culture. You play a Michael Jackson song anywhere in the world, people, you play Billie Jean. What's the first thing people doing? They going out there and they moonwalking. They trying to dance like Michael. Ain't nobody out here trying to dance like Taylor Swift, trying to dance like Beyonce and things like that. So that's just where that is. Yes, I had to switch locations. Uh, I had to let the dog out, so now I'm in the car. You know how we do. We do it in the car. I don't care. I'll record anywhere. It don't matter. All I need is my microphone and my camcorder and my laptop, and we good to go. Got my phone, but yeah, like I was saying, uh, we were on. I was talking about Michael Jackson because I just seen the most ridiculous comments saying that Chris Brown was his generation's Michael Jackson, and Taylor Swift is bigger than Michael, which is not true. And like I was saying, you play any Michael Jackson song anywhere in the world, people are just gonna be dancing to it. You play, like I said, you play Billie Jean, they're gonna be doing the moonwalk. They're gonna be trying to dance like Michael. Do everything. You go watch him when he did the moonwalk for the first time on Motown 25 when he debuted the song Billie Jean, and he did all the dance moves. Everybody tries to do that. Like I said, nobody's out here trying to do dance moves like Beyonce. Nobody's out here trying to imitate Taylor Swift. And there's no disrespect to them. They're great artists in their own right, but they're not Michael. Michael's music, this is where you got to break it down. Michael Jackson's music, like I said, is played everywhere around the world, in all cultures, in all all facets of life. It's like you play a song anywhere, it don't matter. People are gonna jam out to it. Don't matter what song. You play any of his music, people are gonna jam out to it all over the world. You play Taylor Swift in a different culture. Let's say the black community. You playing Taylor Swift is not being bumped. No, like I said, I'll bump Taylor Swift because I I fucks with it. But you, in most black communities, they're not bumping Taylor Swift. They're not. Let's just be real. It's not being like that everywhere. But like I said, like in different cultures, like in other cultures, Beyonce is probably not being played everywhere, and that's okay. That's because people like what they like. But Michael Jackson's music is worldwide for it's for everybody. That's the difference. That's why he's up here, and his music stands the test of time, and it would continue. Hell, they have They have his own musical, the MJ the musical. Like, what are we doing here? Like, it's Michael, and like I said, he had an effect on people that these other artists don't have. Taylor Swift's fan base is mostly young teenage girls or younger, right? Beyonce's fan base, I really don't know. We went to her concert when she was here in Kansas City. I mean, it's mostly older people. I mean, there's some young fans. It's a mixture, but it's not a lot of guys. I mean, I fucks with Beyonce. I fucks with Beyonce. She got good music and songs, but the difference between those two and Michael is Michael has an effect on everybody, regardless of who you are. Like I said, regardless of race, gender, culture, he had an effect on everybody. The man had grown men crying at concerts. Had people passing out at shows. Taylor Swift don't have grown men crying. See, that's the difference. Beyonce doesn't have grown men crying. You see what I'm saying? Last night I was when I got home I was watching his concert from Munich. It was 1997, I believe. Listen, there's nobody like Michael on stage, in the recording studio, anything, dancing, singing. Don't sleep on Michael singing. There's nothing. He's got the all-time greatest selling album, Thriller. He just had an effect on people. He can make grown men cry at his show. He made everybody cry. He had that effect on everybody. So when we're sitting here and talking about who's the greatest artist ever, it's not. It's Michael. It's not even close. Nobody comes close. Not Taylor Swift. Not Beyonce. Not Jay Z. Not Chris Brown. Not nobody. I don't care. This is not an opinion. It's fact. It is. Michael Jackson's on another stratosphere. His music will always stand the test of time. It would be played for generations to come, and it would never die. That's the reason, and it's the effect he had on people, and the good he tried to do in the world. It's just overall like he's the goat in music overall. And I'll leave it at that. That I don't have anything else to say on it. Michael Jackson's the GOAT. He's my all-time favorite. He always will be. I'm not gonna get into all that personal shit. That's just my opinion. I never bought that. I never thought that ever happened. All that shit that they said about him. I didn't buy it. I didn't believe it. Uh I mean, yeah. But I'm not gonna talk about that. I'm talking about just as an artist in general, he's the GOAT. Just leave it at that. He's on his own. Nobody's ever gonna top him. There will never be another person like him. Let's just leave it at that. Yeah, I'm a Michael Jackson fan. If you didn't notice, but I fucks with Michael. That's my all-time favorite artist of all time. So we here. Yeah, Michael Jackson's the goat. No disrespect to it's no disrespect to other artists, but nobody's on his level. Nobody will ever be on his level ever. As long as this earth is spinning, nobody will ever be on that same level, that same stratosphere as Michael Jackson. We're gonna leave it at that. But we're gonna get into it. We're gonna take a quick break, and then we're gonna get into some pro wrestling stuff. Yeah, so we'll be right back. And we are back here on the AK Show. Thank you for tuning in. We're gonna get into it. Some pro wrestling stuff. So this last weekend, I had a wrestling show, and I was listening to somebody speak about, traveling, whether you like to travel alone and or traveling with people and what are the pros and cons. And there's some really good points. And I just want to kind of give my opinion on, because everybody's got a different opinion on traveling. You have people that like to travel with people, with other people, and then you have people that like to travel alone. And the person's perspective I was listening to was, they like to travel with people, and they have their reasons for wanting to travel alone. But this is always good. The pros and cons of traveling alone or traveling with people. So let's start just with me. In pro wrestling, traveling, it's a lot, especially if you're doing multiple shows in a weekend and you're going somewhere that's far. That maybe over 4 hours, maybe 8 or 8 plus hours. These drives can be long, they can be tiresome, and you're leaving at one point in the morning, you're getting there, then the show's over, and then sometimes you gotta leave. If it's just a one-off show, you're leaving that night to go back home, or it's one of those things where, hey, I gotta be somewhere the next day for another show, another booking. I either got to drive halfway, or I'm staying the night and then waking up in the morning and then driving to that next show. So it's continuous. It can be tiring if you're booked every weekend and you're just traveling, right? But I'm just gonna start with me personally, just because it's just the way I am. I like to travel by myself, and I've been doing it most most of my pro wrestling career, the last 9.5 years. I've been traveling a lot by myself, and it's not that I don't like traveling with people. It's just I'm kind of an introvert at first, and when it comes to traveling, I like to be in charge. I want to take my car. I want to drive, and most of the time I want to be by myself. Just because here's just because here comes some of the pros of traveling by yourself. you know, if you're traveling by yourself, I can listen to whatever music I want to. That's one. I I can stop when I want to. If I gotta stop to use the bathroom, I'm gonna stop. I don't have to ask nobody. I don't. If I'm in the car and I'm just riding, I'm not driving. Hey, can I use the bathroom? I can stop when I want. When it's time to eat, I can choose the food place because I don't have to ask nobody. Hey, where y'all want to go eat? I can go wherever I want. Uh, Sometimes I can just get that nice quiet time. Nobody's talking. You know, I'm driving. I'm just chilling. Not listening to no music. It's that peaceful, quiet time. And if I need to, like on the way back, if I'm driving, uh, if I'm not in a rush, I can pull over, take a quick power nap, and then keep it going and things like that. It's just like, and that might be more of a con, that last part. But me, I just like traveling by myself. I've been doing it a lot in the last 9.5 years. That's mostly how I've traveled. Just I want to go by myself, and it's not that I don't like people or want to be around people. It's just I just want to travel by myself. I just want that alone time. And but those are the pros of traveling by yourself. Now the cons of traveling by yourself, in pro wrestling is you gotta make the drive by yourself, right? Uh, you gotta make the drive by yourself. You gotta spend all the money on gas by yourself. You're footing the bill for everything. If you're staying somewhere, if you don't have, if you have to book your own hotel, you gotta pay for it. Uh, it, if you're driving back or driving to another show and you're getting tired, you have nobody else to help you with the drive, so you gotta fight through it. Or like me, I'll just pull over and take a quick nap. I'm in no rush to get home. Like it's like one of those things. Like I'll pull over, take like a 30-minute nap, and then I'll be good to go to get the rest of the way home or wherever I'm going. So it's just like those are some of the cons. Uh, yeah, yeah, I think those are the cons. You have nobody to help you with the drive. You got to foot the bill for the gas. For if you need to stay somewhere in a hotel room or whatever, you're footing the bill. You're doing all the driving, and it's taxing. It is. It's taxing to because you have to stay awake. You have to drive. It can be taxing on the mind and physically and mentally it can be taxing, traveling by yourself, especially if you're traveling somewhere far. I mean, hell, I think the furthest I've gone by myself is like 12 hours, and like I have to break that drive up into pieces. So it's like if I'm going 12 hours, I'll probably maybe do 4 hours and then do the rest the next day, depending on what time I have to be at that venue or location. And then on the way back, like I'm driving it that day. If it's 12 hours, I'll drive a little bit and then finish. But if it's like 10 hours, I'll finish that in one day on the way back. So it's just like it's taxing because you get there. Because on drives, if I have to go like 10 plus hours, I'll leave like the day before, drive a little bit, then finish the rest. But then after it's over the next day, usually I'm staying somewhere if it's that far. Then the next day I'm just driving straight through, not stopping to stay anywhere. So that's the cons of traveling alone, and those are the pros in my opinion of traveling alone. But me, I like to travel alone. That's just the way I am. But here's the pros of traveling with people. You have other people to keep you company. You have other people to help with the drive. Help chip in on gas. If you're staying in a hotel, everybody can chip in and cut the cost down. Uh, that's really it. I mean, you have other people. You don't, and if you're driving back, everybody can chip in on that drive. And hey, you drive a couple hours, I'll drive a couple hours. If you have multiple people, they can all help drive a couple hours, and that way you're able to just sit back and relax. It's not as mentally exhausting if you have multiple people in the car helping you drive. But yeah, those are a lot of pros. They get help with driving, keeping you company, help on expenses like gas and staying somewhere, and it'll get you from point A to point B. But the cons, I think I mentioned a little bit, the cons of driving with people is you just can't stop when you want to. If if you're riding with somebody else, you can't you ask and be like, "Hey, can we use the bathroom?" Because you don't want to be the one holding everybody up. Because maybe people in the car want to get there, they just want to get there. They don't need to stop. You gotta ask to stop. You can't just stop when you want. Even if you are driving, but even if I'm driving and I have people in the car, if it's my car, I'm gonna stop when I want. All right, I am gonna stop. But if you're riding in the car, you don't have that luxury. If you're riding in somebody else's car, and even if you are driving your car, you me personally, like if I need to stop, I'm gonna stop. If anybody in my car needs to stop, we're gonna stop. But if you're driving, you don't want to be the person that stops. You don't want to be the person that like gets people there late, or some people just want to get there and get ready and get in the zone. So you can't stop when you want to, really. When it comes time to finding a place to eat, everybody's got to agree on it. You may want something, somebody else may want something else, and these other people in the back may want something. Now, when it's just you and just one other person, it's kind of easier to decide where to eat. But when you got like 4, 5 total people in the ride, oh, trying to figure out where to eat. Like, where we gonna go eat after this? Well, we can go here. And like, I don't want that. You go here, and I don't want that. So it's things like that, and I think those are mostly the cons. Is that like, you can't just stop when you want to. Finding a place to eat, finding what you're gonna eat after the show or whatever. Or even when you're traveling somewhere, hey, can we stop here to eat? And it's like, I don't want that, because you don't want to. If you got like multiple people in the car, you don't want to be making 4 or 5 different stops to, a restaurant or a fast food place to get food. You want one, and you want to go there. And probably another con is just if you're traveling with somebody, you can't you can't listen to the music you want to, but that's why they invented these things called headphones. So I can just put mine in and listen to whatever I want on my headphone. But like I said, if I'm in the car by myself, I can listen to my own music. I don't have to ask nobody, hey, I'm gonna listen to this. I'm gonna put it on and listen to it. But when you're in a car with other people, you can't just play whatever old music you want, because maybe some people don't like that type of music. You can't put on any podcast you want. Maybe they don't want to hear that. Maybe they don't like that podcast. So it's like you can't do that. You can't get that peace and quiet. Maybe sometimes you want that peace and quiet after a show because you're mentally exhausted. You just want to kind of wind down while you're driving. You don't get that in a car with a whole bunch of people, because some of them might be talking and things like that. So it's just one of those things where you can't just you're with a group of people. Y'all all have to agree on what to do in terms of eating and things like that, and when to stop. Like, hey, can I stop to go to the bathroom? So it's just different things like that. So, like I said, me personally, I like to travel by myself, and I just like that alone time. Right, I can stop when I want. I can go to whatever restaurant I want and things like that. But as I've gotten older, right, like I'm 38, I can't stay up as late as I used to and make these drives. Like, even when after a show, if it's late at night and I have to drive back home, I have to pull over at least halfway and just get a quick nap in. I got like it's like 30. Sometimes I'll do an hour nap. I'm in no rush to get home. It's fine. I'd rather be awake, be able to drive and not fall asleep at the wheel. If I need to, I'll pull over. I don't care. I'm in no rush. I'm in no rush to get home. But as I got older, it's hard to stay up later. It really is. And then to make these drives, so I'll have to pull over. But as I've gotten more into the years, the last few years, I've 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 liked the benefit of traveling with people, but I still prefer traveling alone. That's just me personally. That has nothing to do against anybody. I just prefer it. Or I don't like traveling with a big group of people. I like traveling with one or two other people, 2 people max, traveling with. When it gets into a big group, then I'm like, oh boy. But if I need to, yeah, I'll travel with a big group of people. But I just prefer to travel alone. But the last few years, like I said, I've been, yeah, I'll travel with you. Oh, can we take your car? It's cool. Yeah, being able to relax and not have to do the whole drive by yourself, I is nice. It's nice. But this past weekend, I did the whole thing by myself. Driving to St. Louis, to Indianapolis, and then back home, which is no problem. I mean, it's it's not difficult. It is, but at the same time, I don't mind it. I don't mind driving. I like driving. I I'm not gonna lie. I like driving, but like I said, driving with people is nice. Now with a big group of people, like I said, it's just give me like just give me 3 total people in the car, the driver and 2 other people. We good there. When you start getting above that number, whoo, oh, it can be something else. It can be entertaining too. Not gonna lie. I mean, I think the one time we rented a car to go to the show. It was like 8 of us. We were in like an SUV. That was a fun trip, but all the time I wouldn't want to do that all the time. All the whole big group of people like that. But yeah, those are just to me the pros and cons of traveling alone and traveling with people. And it's up to you. It really is. Like, if you like to travel alone, go travel alone. And I get it. Like, some people may think you're an asshole. But you just got to be upfront with, like, man, I just like traveling by myself. I don't like traveling with people in the car. That's just the way I am. And sometimes you just gotta be honest. But even if you do travel alone, you should you mix it up. mix it up, travel with people, and then hey, if you need to travel alone for the show, you want to travel alone. Hey, it is what it is. That's just me personally. I like traveling by myself. It just it is what it is. And will I travel with people? Absolutely. But my preferred method is traveling by myself. That's just the way I am. But if somebody else is on another show and I'm going to that same show, yeah, we'll hop in the car together. Yeah, we could we'll hop in the car together. But I don't mind traveling by myself. Maybe I should put it that way. I don't mind that. I did a lot throughout my pro wrestling career so far. So, but yeah, you just got to make the decision what you prefer, what you can do. You know, if you like traveling by yourself, it's okay. If anybody else talks shit that hey this person don't like to travel, okay, let them be them. Don't make them a bad person because they like to travel by themselves or make them feel weird. Maybe they're introverts. They just want to be alone. They like that alone time. Don't out them because they like to travel by themselves. That's not nice. I'm not saying that happens. I'm just saying, hey, it is what it is. That's what I like. But we're gonna take a quick break and then we're gonna get into this last thing I want to get into. We are back here on the AK show. Thank you to everybody that's tuning in. I know this episode is mostly pro wrestling related. It's where I like to be insightful and give out the knowledge that I have gained in my time so far in pro wrestling to help other people that are just starting out or don't know how to get involved or just need some tips or has questions or whatever, is looking for some insightful information from time to time, I will have episodes like this, geared towards pro wrestling. And then eventually I'll have guests on that can be insightful and helpful to people that are involved in pro wrestling. And then as we move on to getting other guests on outside the pro wrestling world, whether it be in the music industry or other athletes in other sports or the movie industry or somebody that works in movie or television and things like that, we can have them on and they can be insightful and give out knowledge to people that are in that specific industry. So that's what I want to continue to build on this podcast. And at the same time, even when we have people on, I want them to be insightful, but I also want sometimes we just want to talk and have a good time and let them tell stories and let them talk about their career and whatnot, but also be able to be insightful and help people, in that specific area, industry, or whatever the case may be, whether it's on the sports or the entertainment side. That's how I want this podcast to be. And then there'll be episodes where I'm coming on here giving my opinion about different topics and things like that are in the sports entertainment world. But yeah, like I said, this episode's specific to pro wrestling. So if you're interested in pro wrestling or getting involved in pro wrestling, or you're just looking for some insightful information, this episode's for you. I got other episodes too, where I talk about pro wrestling, like how to get started, you know, things referees need to do, what makes a good referee and things like that. So we're gonna continue this episode, and then I'm gonna get out your hair and let you enjoy the rest of your weekend. But what I want to get into next is I want to get into just some refereeing and not even talk about. I'm not talking about anybody specific, anything like that. I'm just talking in generalities. Listen, as a referee, we need to be able to do the job that we're supposed to. And when it comes to being a referee, if you cannot fully get down on the mat and make a pinfall count, you shouldn't be doing it. I'm being honest. If you're not able to get down, fully get down on your knees, however you count, on your side and make a count, you shouldn't be refereeing because it doesn't look good. If the referee can barely bend down to make a pinfall count, and I've seen referees, I've seen on videos. I've seen other shows I've worked where the referee gets down on one knee and makes the count, and it just doesn't look good. It's like if you can't do the function, the job of a referee in the physical, if you physically cannot do it, you shouldn't be doing it, and you shouldn't. I'm I'm not I'm not trying to be mean, anything like that. Like the day I'm no longer able to physically do this and get down on all fours and count, I gotta move on. I gotta move on. I know. Like I'll move on to a different aspect of wrestling. Like I'll transition to something else. Please believe. Just even when I stop refereeing, oh no, I'm gonna transition. I wanna do managing. I wanna be a mouthpiece. I wanna be able to talk on the mic. But the day I can no longer, if I'm out there getting down on one knee in county and I can't get on both, no, we have there's issues and I gotta move on. I gotta take myself out of the equation because I'm not gonna sit there and embarrass myself and make the match look bad, make the show look bad, and have people talking about me. Hey, you see that referee over there? He can barely bend down to count. If you can't get down to count, you can't get down in position to check on somebody in a submission. You can barely bend down, and it's hard for you to get back up. That means it's okay. You you don't do it no more. If you can't get down, it's time to go. It really is, because that does not look good. It doesn't look good for the show. It doesn't look good for the match, and it don't look good on you. And then people will be talking about you. Fans and other fans will be talking about you. They'll be pointing out. They'll be pointing it out. Somebody will be pointing that out. You see that referee? He could barely bend down to count. I've literally heard stories about a referee counting with their foot because they couldn't bend down. I'm like, no. What are we doing? No. Stop it. If you cannot physically do the job requirements, the physical job requirements of being a referee, then your time is up. Like I said, I know when my time's up, I'm just gonna transition to a different position in wrestling. I'm gonna transition to being a manager. That's a fact. I'll go work on my promo skills. And in the job description of a manager, I would just transition right from referee to manager. When I can no longer physically, the physical aspect of being a referee, it's time to move on. It really is. Hey, your time. You had your time. I've had my time. 9.5 years. If I get to year 11 and I can no longer physically be a referee, hey, I'm gonna move on to doing something else in pro wrestling. I don't mean I'm gonna leave. No, I'm transitioning to a manager. That's what I want to do, or I want to do more backstage stuff as well. But listen, referees out there, if you could not physically do the job, the physical requirement of being a referee, it's just time to move on. It's just time. Legit, you just got to know when, please. Because I'm not even talking about being in shape, looking TV good, because I know my stomach shows and on I hate watching myself because I just look like a fat ass. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about being physically able to do the job a referee needs to do. Because you are in there, you are working. You may not be taking bumps, but you're going down, you're counting. You got to be able to move around in the ring. You got to be able to do the physical requirements. When you're going up and down for a pinfall, you're getting down there on your knees, checking for a submission. If it takes you gotta, you struggle to get up. Oh no, you can't get all the way down for a pinfall. We got issues. Listen, I was on a show with Ethan Page at Glory a few months ago. Was it the May show? He was a special guest referee. And after the show, I was watching a little bit of the match because I was still getting ready for one of the other matches I was working. But I was watching a little bit of it. I was watching them. I was like kind of taking notes in my head. And only the one note I had was like to work hard cam. And I get that like Anytime there's a special guest referee, they're never working hard cam. But and I went to him and I was like, I told him, he's like, you did a good job, refing. And he was telling me, he's like, you got any notes? I was like, oh shit. I was like, you got to work that hard cam. He's like, I know. He's like, that shit's hard to remember working out hard cam. And then he was like, it's hard being a referee. Being a referee, like it's so different. It's a different type of physical activity, especially when you got to go down and then pinfall count and then get back up and then there's another pinfall. You're constantly just moving. He's like, no, he was like, I respect referees and what they do because that's different. That shit's hard. Like, just don't think anybody can be a referee. You know, you can't just come in here and just be a referee. It takes work. It's not like we just sit here, we just stand around and just, hey, we're just there to make a pinfall. We do a lot more, and there's a lot of physical work. It's different than what the wrestlers are doing in the ring. Ours is different, and we gotta wear black slacks, which is hot. We gotta wear a ref shirt. We don't get to come up in our wrestling gear, whether it's tights or wrestling underwear or whatever, a singlet. No, we all wear black slacks, black shoes, and a ref shirt, right? And it's a different type of physicality that we're doing in the ring. And if you're not able to do the physical work that a referee has to do, if you're not able to do it, then why are you doing it at all? I'm being dead honest. I'm not being mean. I'm not being cruel. Like I said, once I know myself, I can no longer physically be a referee. Physically, do the physical job description a referee needs to do. I'm gonna see myself right on out, right on out to a new. I'm gonna transition to something else in wrestling. But right now, I can still do it. Yeah, my knees hurt, but that's just from normal wear and tear. Doing this for 9.5 years, catching in baseball growing up, probably football too, getting tackled at the knees playing running back and wide receiver, in football and then in college ball. But that's just normal wear and tear. But if I can no longer, like, if I get to a match and I can't get down to make a count and I'm on one knee, no, I'm done. I'm done. Let's just be real. I'm done. You should be done too. That's just fact. I'm not being mean. I'm just speaking on facts. If you cannot do the physical job description of a referee, you should not be doing it. That's all I gotta say on it. That's really. I hope every referee, everybody that wants to be a referee, if you're still young, I just want you to know, if you once you get to that point, don't try to be out here and just do it because you can. No. Just move on, transition to something else. There's plenty of opportunities in pro wrestling. Like I said, when I can no longer do the physical job description of a referee, oh, I'm gonna switch over to being a manager. Oh, I've always wanted to be a manager, so that's what I'm gonna do. But that's all I got for that. I like I said, I'm not trying to be mean or cruel or anything like that. I'm just telling it like it is. And anybody else, any other referee that's been in the business for a long time will tell you too. Like, it doesn't look good. Even wrestlers with fans will point it out. They don't give a fuck. Wrestling fans will point that shit out. They don't give a fuck. If they see some shit like, what's going on there? Other referees will point it out too. They'll be like, hey, you need to be able to get down. If you can't get down, you shouldn't be doing it. Although somebody will point it out. You will point that shit out and be like, come on, bro. Why if you trying to you counting the pinfall with your foot is unacceptable and obnoxious. That it is just no, I'm no, absolutely not. Just stop. But yeah, that's where I'm at on that. That's all I wanted to get into today. The pro wrestling uh travel, the cons and pros of traveling by yourself or traveling with other people, and then the just I don't know how to word it, but just if you're not able to do the physical job that a referee needs to do, it's just time to move on, transition to something else.
But yeah, that's all I got for today. Thank you for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. What we'll be back on Wednesday. Yeah. So you get this episode today on Saturday, and then we get another one on Wednesday. Uh, I don't know. That just got me. Now I'm wired right now because that's the type of shit that pisses me off. When I see that shit from another referee that doesn't take it seriously or just half-assing it or they're not able to do it, I'm like, oh, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Stop it. No, this not everybody can just be a referee. You gotta put in work. You gotta want to get better. Like I said, I'm not even talking about being in shape and being conditioned to go out here and ref these matches and looking good on TV. I'm just talking about being able to do the physical portion of a referee. Like being able to get down on all fours and count. Not on one knee, not standing up, not if you get down, you have a hard time getting back up. Right? No. You gotta be able to move around the ring. Like if you're moving slow and you're in the way or you can't get down all the way and do your pinfall counts, you can't get in the right position because you can't get all the way down, then it's time to move on. That's what I'm talking about. So yeah. Thank you for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. We'll be back Wednesday with episode 20. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to hit that like button, that share button. I really do appreciate it. We're on the road to 500 subscribers. Let's fucking get it. Yeah, I'm excited. Anything else I want to mention? No, I really don't. You know, I do want to. If anybody out there, I do want to mention it. If anybody's got any contacts or way to get into contact with somebody that works in, I would say the movie industry, let me know, cause I did write a movie script. Yeah, I wrote it's a movie about pro wrestling. I wrote a movie script. I've had it done for a while. I finished that last year. I just I just I've had one other person read it, but I do want to send it out and just I want to get some feedback. So if anybody's got any contacts, shoot me a message. Shoot me a message. Uh, Look for me on my socials, AK the Ref. You'll find me. If it's on Instagram, it's AK the ref. I don't know why I had to put the dots in there because apparently there's another AK the Ref out there, but I'm the real AK the Ref. But yeah, shoot me a message. Find me on socials. Find me on Twitter. No, I'm not calling that shit X. It's Twitter. If you know anybody, reach out to me. I want to get that script out there because I want to get I got it. It's a pro wrestling movie. It's a story that hasn't been told yet, and I want to get it out there. So I got a movie script. I got it ready to go. I just need to get it out there and get it to the right people. You know, I want to get it out there. If anybody has got contacts to Seven Bucks Production, that's Dwayne the Rock Johnson's, production company. I would love to get the movie to him. If anybody's got that contact, not his personal contact, but like just how to get in contact with somebody that's involved with seven seven bucks productions, let me know. But anybody's got any other movie contacts, I want to send the script out. I really want to get this movie made because I really think it's a story that ain't been told yet. I think I've thought of the other wrestling movies that have been out there. Recently the most recent one was the Iron Claw, and that was more of a biography. And then I remember the wrestler, that one movie, The Wrestler. That was a good movie, but my story's different. It hasn't been told yet. I haven't seen it yet, so I just want to get it out there. But that's all I got for today. Thank you for tuning in. Let's get it. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.